I'd like to pick up a line of inquiry following on from my colleagues that relate to your international engagement and also child exploitation, but in a slightly different area. Earlier this year, I travelled to Cambodia and became aware through the Cambodian government and also DFAT of the situation of what are called paper orphans in sham orphanages. And subsequently doing a lot of research with this, including a number of Australian organisations, I'm getting more alarmed by the moment. And I think it appears to me that this is one area of horrendous child exploitation that is falling through international jurisdictions between countries, but also between agencies. The situation, as I understand it, is that there are thousands of orphanages springing up across Southeast Asia, Africa and also South America. And no doubt some are genuine, but according to UNICEF, 85% of these children are actually not orphans at all. They have at least one living parent. And they are little more than money-making machines. And again, to me, they have all the hallmarks of transnational crime, a lot of them. So they bring these children through fair means and foul. Some of them are trafficked over borders, some of them are trafficked from village to village. Some of the children are bought from their relatives and horrendously exploited. So they're taught to perform. And there are thousands and thousands of Australians now who travel overseas every year, quite for different intentions to what you were talking about before. But they go to these orphanages, so-called orphanages, they think they're doing good for these children, but we know here in Australia just how bad residential care, long-term residential care is for our own children. And here in many of these countries, Australians are flocking to work in these orphanages, which are not registered with the state, which have no protections for dealing with children. And the children don't go to school, and also they're subject to sexual exploitation in many circumstances. So for me, first of all is, I've just got a series of questions, but are you generally aware of this circumstance?
Very generally, Senator. I'm not aware that we have any investigations, and I'm sure my team are thinking that through right now. There's no question, though, that the human trafficking trade and the trade in children is insidious, and from a transnational crime perspective, commodity means very little to transnational criminals, and children are another commodity. So I support exactly what you're saying.